Hi, we're back again, and our first guest this morning is Reverend Jack Elliott, and he's the minister at Central Valley Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning. It's such a joy to spend some time with you.
Well, me too, and I've heard about you before, and I thought, oh, this is good because this is right into my life here. It fits right in.
You're right in your bailiwick.
Right in my bailiwick. So we're so glad to have you.
Absolutely. I'm excited to come out because we are putting something together new that's going to be launching on March 4th. It is a virtual online class, kind of a mastermind class called The Power of Intent. And one of the things that we have learned in our outreach is a lot more people are doing their spirituality virtually these days.
That's true.
And so we're looking at how can we make that happen. And through our website, we have this mastermind class where once you RSVP and say, I want to be a part of it, you have the opportunity to get the link, and then you can join the webinar and be a part of the class.
Oh, wow.
Or you can just be passive and you can watch and get the content of it, but it will broadcast the 4 Monday evenings in the month of March. And my video blog is called Beyond Limits.
Uh-oh.
And so this is a series called The Power of Intent that is within that Beyond Limits video blog.
Now let's tell them a little bit about the fact that Central Valley Center for Spiritual Living, what is this really all about for people who don't know about it?
Well, the Central Valley Center for Spiritual Living is a part of the Centers for Spiritual Living that was founded 100 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Ernest Holmes.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people are familiar with Science of Mind magazine. Other people are familiar with the First Church of Religious Science, which was the name of the church when it was founded in the 60s here.
Wow.
A lot of people call us the Little Church on Clinton because it's between West and Fruit on Clinton, and it's a historic building because it was built as the first community theater in the city of Fresno.
Oh,
it actually was the first community theater between Sacramento and Bakersfield.
Wow.
So it was built in the 40s, so we have a legitimate proscenium stage that really kind of adds to it, but it's a quaint building. And it's been our church for about 50 years. And a lot of people ask me, well, what is the Centers for Spiritual Living? And what we teach is that it is a philosophy, a faith, and a way of living.
Yes.
And it honors all paths to one universal God. And so it's open to whoever you are. It's open to you being empowered to put your own spiritual journey together. And so we do education. We conceive ourselves to be a teaching and empowerment ministry. So therefore, we do classes like The Power of Intent, to find a new way that no matter what your spiritual, religious upbringing might be, it complements it. It gives you one more thing, to kind of put together.
And I believe that's so totally, because if you go around with your head down and feeling sorry for yourself, which I did when I was a young person, so I know I went through the whole thing, and I had to go through a lot of things in my mind with God or with Jesus, whatever. I went through it, all of that, to change that consciousness from the negative to the positive. It's like going from an empty glass of milk to a full one.
Right, exactly. Well, and the thing, that I say, too, is Fresno didn't need another church. There are plenty of churches out there. So I wanted to create a dynamic at Central Valley Center for Spiritual Living that invites people to do church differently. And so I do give a Sunday talk, but we call it a dialogue. So I'm happy if somebody raises their hand and asks a question. It's like, what do you mean? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Good.
And I really love it when somebody goes, I don't agree with that at all. And then we can have that great dialogue to go, okay, what we're really trying to do is understand how our personal world got to be the way that it is. And then find some tools to get from where we are to where we want to be. And I really teach that it's the power of intent that gets you there.
Oh, right. If you have the bad intention, it's going to come out bad.
Right. Well, if you think about a farmer, we're in the Central Valley where feeds most of America.
Yeah.
When that farmer walks out to that field, he sees the corn already grown. He sees it done. He understands what he's going to make, when he sells it. So his intention is a field full of corn. Now, what he has to do and what we teach is that you must keep your attention on your intention. So if he walks out in that field and he looks down and he sees a weed growing, he has to tend to the garden and take that weed out. But if he looks at that weed and he blames his neighbor who's not taking care of his field, and he knows that some bird picked up a seed from that weed and dropped it in his thing, he could lose focus. He could lose his focus on what he is to do, blame the neighbor, get entrapped in that whole argument, even be right that seed from that weed came from the neighbor's farm.
But
if he kept his attention on his intention, he would simply pull the weed and move on and be done with it. And so that's the simplistic thing that I try to teach people to do, is like, if you have an intention and you keep your focus on it, then you'll get it done. When Steve Curry plays for the Warriors, he does not walk up and think about, how am I standing, how am I going to raise my arm? He sees the ball going through the basket. That's all he has to do. That's his intention. And the universe supports him in making that happen. Anyone that has mastered any craft sees the end in the beginning, and they keep their focus.
that's for sure. That's absolutely true. It's true of artists. It's true of authors. It's for just everyday people that go to an office. It's what they want in their life. They have to keep their intent on that, because if you don't, so many things pull us apart and try to pull us away from it.
Well, I teach people, too, that every word you say is a prayer, and that you have to be accountable for what it is that you say. So if you say, I hope, or I will, or I can, that projects it into the future. Mm-hmm. So you're constantly creating that these things will happen in the future, not in your life right now.
Wow.
And I also think that, we could talk a lot about a lot of different things, but when you really kind of get into how the subconscious works and the collective subconscious, every piece of music that you listen to is a prayer. So like whatever song is playing in your car right now or on your music device at home, that's what you're affirming to be true in your life. And we think, those of us, and I'm sure there are a lot of people like me, I'm addicted to the news. I can watch the news forever. But I also have to be accountable for that, because if I'm constantly watching chaos, if I'm constantly watching discourse, then I can't be surprised when chaos and discourse show up in my life.
That's why I'm not so good on watching the news.
But that's your intention. You've already set your intention.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that energy into my life. I'm going to see it differently. And that's what we teach.
That is so wonderful. But you've got this wonderful thing coming up that you're working on now. Tell us about that.
It's a mastermind class, and it's a virtual class where if you go to our website, jackrelliott.com or revjackelliott.com, you can RSVP to participate in the virtual webinar. And you RSVP, we get your email address, and then we send you the link. We use a platform known as Zoom technology, which allows you to come into a video broadcast of the class. And we're teaching a 4-week series called The Power of Intent.
Wonderful.
And it'll help you set your intention for each of the 6 areas of your life. For your relationships, for your financial well-being, for your health and well-being, for your spiritual development, for your sacred service in the community, and for your family. And you can set an intention for each one of those, and by the end of the 4 weeks, you will see positive results from having done so.
Oh, that is fantastic.
I'm writing a play that's going to premiere this summer called The Power of Intent, because I'm a playwright.
Good.
In the play, there is such a mastermind group. So this live group is really kind of the beta test to give me the idea of the dynamic so that it's really true when we perform it this summer of what it could look like.
How exciting. On top of everything else, a play. I love plays, you know.
Yes, I do too. I do too.
I'm so glad that you came in today, and just give them any dates or anything that you want, addresses, whatever. Give it to them again.
Well, again, the webinar series starts on March 4th. That's a Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. So if you go to jackrelliott.com or revjackelliott.com, you'll see the link to it, and you can RSVP to it. And if you're around on Sundays and you want to do church in a different way, you can visit us at the Central Valley Center for Spiritual Living at 723 West Clinton Avenue. That's between West and Fruit on Clinton, and our celebration starts at noon.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm so glad you came in. You've got to come in again, please.
Well, I'd love to. Love to spend more time
come back
with you.
And
Thank you
talk
for that.
about the play and everything, and as it grows.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Okay.
Maybe I'll even cast you.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for
so
coming
much.
in, Jack. We'll be right back.